All right, today we have the fabulous Tomás Matos. How are you doing today?
Honestly, Clint.
Yes, cunt. It is hard to believe that we talked around this time last year during the Fire Island press, and it's hard to believe that it's already been a year.
I know it is really wild. This year
Yeah.
has been amazing. All of, the best events, parties, connections have been made this year, and a few little, nuggets of thoughts have been manifested within my
Yes.
own life. So very exciting year.
Good, good. So first of all, tell me, how did Fire Island change your life?
Oh, in so many ways. I mean, it kind of like catapulted me out of what I was like originally known for, which was being in the ensemble of Broadway musicals, which is not a bad place to be, I might add. um, but I had been manifesting something bigger, something more throughout my time on Broadway, something that would allow me to use my purpose that I find I'm here on this earth to do in this lifetime, which is to share my light and inspire others to share theirs. And I think Fire Island kind of gave me that platform in order to do that.
Hmm.
So I'm very grateful for that. I think that was like the number one thing that kind of changed my life.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been a really exciting year.
Awesome, fantastic. And like I said, I'm very happy for the opportunity to talk with you again, and this time about some recent music projects. Your new club ready dance track, Honestly Cunt, came out June 2nd. So can you tell us more about the concept and inspiration behind the single?
Well, it truly came from like I'm sampling a sound from Matt Rogers and Dave Mazzoni, who are two of my friends. Matt, who was also in the film,
Yeah.
they do this event called Game Show, and they asked me to be a part of it. And the first thing that Matt asked me when I came on stage was like, first of all, Tomas, how are you feeling? And the first thing that came to mind was honestly kind. And like that is truly my like everyday feeling. Like, how am I feeling? Honestly, kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels the most correct. And so I wanted to kind of create a track like inspiring and imploring others to kind of feel how they're feeling and say how they're feeling. And if it's honestly cunt, then it's honestly cunt. Because
Yeah.
most of
Mhm.
us feel cunt.
Of course, definitely. So how has the song been received by listeners so far?
Amazing, like hilarious. I think I released it first on SoundCloud, giving like just testing the waters,
Mhm.
and now it's commercially out for everyone to enjoy on all streaming platforms. And the feedback has been really amazing, even for people who are a bit like, weary about the word cunt because it does have a negative past with how it's been used. But I think there's a reclamation of the word within the queer community, specifically from ballroom culture, about the feeling of cunt. It's not necessarily a bad word, and I think people are understanding that from many different platforms and outlets. But I'm happy that my single is kind of a part of that
Yeah.
conversation of reclaiming the word cunt.
Definitely, for sure. And now on June 16th, which is tomorrow at the time of this interview, tomorrow, you will release your follow-up single, Keep It Pumpin'. What can you tell us about this track?
So Keep It Pumpin' came about as a way for me to talk my shit at the end of the day. Being a public individual
Mhm.
within the public eye on in life and in social media, you will always find people who uplift you and raise your voice and celebrate you. And on the other side of that token, you will find the people who don't. And those people are also very loud and opinionated. And so I just hopped on Instagram one day and started talking my shit and freestyled a little verse. People were gagged about it, and I was like, okay, let me put this into a track for y'all then.
Yes, yes, awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you always hope audiences take away from your music?
To live their lives unapologetically authentic. At the end of the day, I think that is what I want to share with the world. How like I can not only like be myself walking down the street. I can also find other outlets to kind of help other people also do the same way within my
Mhm.
music, within my acting, within the plethora of platforms and career outlets that we currently are using and
Yeah.
experiencing. I think the main one that I would love for anyone who listens to my music to take away is to just live your best life and feel
Yeah.
honestly kind.
Yes, yes. Now, I mean, you've always been about using your voice to empower and uplift those around you, haven't you?
Thank you. Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's amazing. So, do you think we can expect a full EP or album sometime soon?
Potentially, yeah,
Okay.
maybe. There is a big rollout of singles at the moment. But I would love to like create a work of art that showcases, a the full range of what makes me me. I think there are many different ways that I like to express myself through my music, and now we're just kind of like, testing the waters and creating our own foundation. But I do think there is a potential EP album in the future.
Okay, awesome, fantastic. And I love that you are getting to celebrate these releases by being a part of Pride events around the country. You've been at We Hope Pride, Boston Pride, and then later this month you'll be performing at Pride in New York and San Francisco.
Mhm.
How exciting has this been for you?
It has been a whirlwind. I mean, it has truly just been the fact that, like, from last year, I literally said to myself, to I want to still go to all of the events that I am being asked to go to, but
Mhm.
somehow find a way to collect a check while doing it. And the first thing that came to mind was to perform. And I was like, okay, let me start doing my music. It was one of the reasons why I was like, I think music is an outlet that I can actually thrive in.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy that I manifested it and it's now coming to fruition. And so now I'm just buckled in, girl, and really, really just going for it.
Yes, yes. So, Tomas, what does Pride mean to you?
Pride means so much to me. Pride is 365 days for me. I think Pride at the end of the day is a rebellion because the first Pride was a riot, and that is not something that I will ever forget. Because I walk out of my house and I feel prideful because I have no choice but to feel prideful.
Yeah.
I think someone like myself who kind of lives my life within many intersectionalities of what makes me me, I have no choice but to feel prideful.
Mhm.
And I know that many other people, almost everyone in my community, either feels the same way or has empathy for the individuals who, have no choice but to be unpalatable because that is literally who we are.
Definitely. Yes. Have you always had this live out loud, proud, authentic self attitude?
Yes, from like where I can remember when I was a child, it was always kind of who I was.
Mhm.
I remember in high school, like, I would like come to school with like a skirt or like, my booty shorts in my bag and have to change on my way to LaGuardia in the city from Staten Island. Yeah, my who I was always inside, no matter how stifled it was because of my current living situations or where I grow up in New York. I was always able to find little outlets to really shine and let my light through. So very grateful for the opportunity, of being from New York, of going to school at LaGuardia High School in Lincoln Center that
Yeah.
allowed me to like, put on my sister's prom dress for formal day.
Yes, yes. That's awesome. I love it. Now, do you remember the first Pride event you ever attended?
Yes, it was my senior, no, it was my freshman year of high school. Ooh, girl. It was a party. It was that I remember a bunch of my friends and I after school, because it was close to the end of the school year, we all went down to Christopher Street and celebrated Pride. I had a friend who lived on Christopher Street, came from money, honey. And so her parents were like away, so we had the apartment to ourselves and they gave like house party for Pride. And then like because of the city girl that I am, we were like able to kind of like kiki on like Gay Street and like where Pieces in Stonewall is and
Mm,
have like the gayest of times. And I remember that was my first time ever going into like a gay bar.
okay.
And it was because it was so busy and so packed that like they weren't really like carding people, which is like kind of a problem, but also I was not complaining.
Yeah, don't complain.
It was
Fantastic.
fine.
Yes. So, your high school, that was a performing arts high school, wasn't it?
Yes, it is notably known as the Fame School.
Okay. So, you've always had this passion for acting, singing, and performing. Right.
For sure. Yeah. I think you have to audition to get into LaGuardia. So prior to LaGuardia, here in Staten Island, where I'm from, there's a little middle school that had interdisciplinary arts that I
Mhm.
was a part of, like dance, like drama, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that has always kind of been since like I was around like 11, 12, where it sparked. That has always kind of been my outlet in terms of.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And now you were recently in Houston's Theater Under the Stars production of Rent as Angel. What was that experience like?
It was amazing. I think for a second, I was a bit weary,
Mm,
just because Texas is Texas,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm not really used to that. But for many reasons, it came out to be an amazing experience for me. I think the two that I took away the most was the fact that I was able to be so visible in a place like Houston, Texas, playing the role like Angel in a show like Rent. I think it was imperative, especially because of all the anti-trans, anti-drag legislation that is happening right now in Houston and all over the country. I think it was imperative for me to literally not only just be able to play that role, but just to be myself in a place like Houston, like going to Target looking cunt, and like showing people that like people like me, people like the role that I was playing Angel are actual human beings, and we deserve just as much rights as any other individual.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that was like the number one takeaway of why I was there. Like my purpose of being in Houston was bigger than what I thought it was. It was truly to be of service to a space like Texas.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah. And the second reason is because I was able to like perform and kind of revved me up for all of the performances that I'm currently doing with
Yeah,
my own set.
for sure. Now you played this role before, haven't you?
I have. I've played it when I was 15 years old here in New York City, and now I'm 25, so it's giving a full decade, kind of like full circle moment, which I
Awesome.
love.
Yes. So what did you want to bring to the role of Angel this time?
I made sure of that I was bringing myself to the role in my totality, in all of my intersectional identities. Um, I think that like normally Angel is portrayed as someone who doesn't really fit into a specific gender binary, and I
Mhm.
wanted to be sure to really play with that and show that. Not only as like I think in how I saw it, Angel is a trans non-binary person who participates in the art form of drag,
Mhm.
and I was very happy that I was able to kind of instill that in my character. Being in drag but keeping my mustache, like things like that, like really fucking with the gender binary, I think
Mhm.
is truly like what makes me me as well. So I'm
Mhm.
very happy I was able to bring that into the role.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your career and platform?
Oh, I have so many. I have so many. I would love to headline a performance of sorts wherever that may be. I see that in my future. I would love to reach a wider platform in terms of like around the world. I would love to like see like people in Europe saying honestly cunt to me, like how iconic would that be?
That'd be awesome. Yes.
Yeah, I have so many. I think in just in terms of like the reach that I hope that my music can get. I hope that it reaches the people that it's needed to reach in order to allow other people to shine and be themselves and live their lives as authentically as possible. Because at the end of the day, that is all that I do, and that's all that I hope other people around me do as well.
For sure. Definitely. Love it. All right, Tomas. Well, how can one stay up to date with you?
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram and my socials, TikTok at TOMATOS underscore. It's like tomatoes underscore without the E because my name is Tomás Matos and that sounds like tomatoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then you can also follow me on Twitter at MATOS underscore Tomas. You can stream my music currently on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your music. Right now, honestly, out tomorrow. Keep It Pumping comes out, and then we have another single coming out on June 27th, which is called Make an Entrance. And you can follow me on YouTube, etc. And just if you see me on the street, girl, say hi.
Say honestly, cunt.
Say honestly, hi.
Yes. Love it. Fantastic. All right, Tomas. Well, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug? Want to talk a little bit about the new single on the 27th?
Yeah, so on it, Make an Entrance will be coming out next week, which I'm very excited about. It is a dance party sort of single, tapping into, you know, more of my like kiki hoo ha dance energy.
Okay.
You might get a few vocals, you might get a few riffs, so it might be a little different. But the girls who know me from Broadway know that I can sing the house down.
Yes. All right. Perfect.